All right, say hey everyone. Welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquet. Over there with a fancy new mic. It's my guest TJ over there. TJ, first of all, congratulations on your Rangers being good in hockey. Congratulations there. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm pumped for the Rangers to sweep tonight. Should be fun. There's a nice MLB card, a lot of early games, which is great because they'll all be done for the Ranger game, except probably Boston, which don't care about too much. But
I was about to say, there's it's a team that doesn't matter, so you're good.
Exactly.
I'll obviously be watching that game, and can't wait to see what happens there. The Red Sox were pretty decent favorites, and I was kind of surprised by that. But excited to talk about all these games here. I am actually looking for a bet right now to make because TJ and I were talking about it pre-show, and I have now bet it, TJ. I got plus 123 on it, and we will talk about it very soon here. It's going to be fun here as well. Shout out to everyone joining us. Joey Hart, Professor Chris, Justin McKelvey, his stacks play of the day. Paul George over 21.5 points. Shout out to you, Justin. By the way, shout out to Coogie Cam for being a member. Appreciate you for joining the pub club there. Craig Wood, shout out to you for joining us here. TJ, you're getting some love from Rocco here as well. Some people call him Rocco. I'll still call him Rocco Rogers, though. Shout out to you there. And Primetime 99, George Kirby. He's that dude. He continues to be my favorite pitcher not on the Red Sox, and I desperately wish he was.
They are equating him to Maddox in Twitter right now, which is kind of a stretch, but we'll see.
He's not. He's modern day Maddox. He's not fully there, Cy Young wise, but he's not walking anyone, and it's great to see. And when you walk everyone in this league, apparently, but it's a weird time, TJ, for pitchers since everyone wants to get hurt. So we have some interesting names on the bump here today. So let's get after it. I'm excited to talk about these games at the very least here, because I don't have any action on them yet. And I haven't even looked at the markets yet, which is going to be very fun to react live to with you guys. So let's get after it here. We had a decent day yesterday. It was pretty much a break-even day. We were up some juice, so that was nice. So it was another winning day, up 14 units on the year. Just need to, keep chugging along. As we all say, baseball is a marathon. I've been up 30 units in a season before and blown it. So we're using that experience to just keep chugging along, doing our thing. It's pretty decent. We pushed on the under in the Mexico City game, which was quite funny. I got 16, and of course it lands on 16. I thought, TJ, for the longest time, I was like, oh, we're good. We're 8-2,
especially the way that started.
Inning.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm chilling. And then the ninth inning came. I was like, oh, we have 6 runs here. We're fine. And they just kept scoring. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't watch a second of the game because Houston obviously blacked out here, so I can't watch it. So I was just watching on like a little game cast thing. I just kept seeing in play runs. I was like, Jesus, this is ridiculous. It's quite funny though. Blue Jays lose to the Dodgers again. I'm going to use that lesson today and not bet on the Blue Jays today. We cashed the under, though. That was nice. I cashed the bet on the Boston Red Sox. It was very easy. It was nice.
Yeah, they barely won that one.
It was great. I had a great time. I just took the full game money line, and I sat back, and I just laughed. Nationals money line cashed yesterday. That was a joke of a line. I don't know why the Marlins are favored, and we're going to go back to that well again. And Royals and Brewers both lose. The Brewers is especially frustrating because, TJ, I came in here saying I'm going to bet the Yankees, and then the market completely flipped me to betting the Brewers, and then, of course, that's what happened. So that was very funny to me at the very least. But it didn't cost us anything. We're up some juice here. let's get after it here. Guardians, Braves to start this. Ricky Bobby actually asking a good question. Are you getting on team totals this year? I can tell you actually my spreadsheet. I've updated my spreadsheet so I can see what I'm doing well and what I'm doing poorly during the season. I categorize all my bets. Look at me. And I haven't bet a team total in quite a while. I'm 6-7 on them this year, down 1.95 units. So I haven't really been betting. The thing that I've been destroying this year, totals, full game totals. I'm 19-8, 70% this year. Money lines, I'm up 5 units, but I'm 34-33. So that helps with the dogs and such. And then the thing that I was pretty surprised about this year is the Cowcat parlay. I've been parlaying the cash cow and then one of my plays. It's usually a total, actually. And they've been cashing pretty decently. I'm 7-4 on them, up 4 units. So those are the things that I've been pretty well. So
Yeah, if
having
you can be up on parlays, you're gonna end the season well if you keep that up.
yeah,
Also,
it's
real
pretty shocking.
quick, for the next game you have that's blacked out, and anybody else, DM me. I have a link that works well. Doesn't have a lot of ads, and you can watch any baseball game you want for free until it
Yes.
gets shut down. But
Yeah. Well, don't worry, TJ. By the way, there's a cash cow on the card here, so there will be a parlay today as well. It's going to be very interesting, and a sharp trap as well for Troy as well. And Troy, can you explain that as well in the chat once we get there? But thank you, Troy, as always, for giving us those early looks there or early indications. Guardians Braves here. Let's get after it. Ben Lively versus Bryce Elder. 6 2/3, 8 hits, no earned runs against the Marlins in his first start this year. Now, Bryce Elder had his moments of brilliance. I think he was an all-star last year. I don't remember exactly because I think I remember his first half just being phenomenal. And now, it's kind of funny. He started in the minor leagues. Now he's called up. Braves injuries, yeah. Is Bryce Elder a guy we think is out there really pitching for his job, pitching for a spot in the majors every week? I could find that angle interesting versus Ben Lively, who's coming off of a back-to-back against the Red Sox and pitched well in both of them. 6 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. I respect that. I probably lean towards the under here. Now, let's look at the market here. And again, I haven't even looked at these today, so I'm very interested to see myself what we're looking at here. 92% of the bets, 93% of the money on the Braves, unsurprising. We have the market opening up this game at a minus 182. Bet Online has us at minus 162. That is interesting. Minus 186 on Bovada for the opener, minus 174 currently. Makes me feel like the Guardians are definitely alive in this spot. That is interesting. And for the total here, we have pretty split. 57% of the bet, 63% of the money on the under here. Though this total, hasn't really moved much. Opened at a 9, a juice 9. Now minus 115 to the over here. TJ, anything for you?
yeah, I actually do have a play on this game. I think if you're going to bet a side, I think the right side with the current odds is Cleveland. Just because of a little bit of unknown with Elder coming back. I mean, last year he had a 3.8 ERA and 31 starts. Very solid. His expected ERA and his FIP were about a point higher, so maybe a little bit lucky. And you can't really take a ton out of his start against Miami. Other than that, he pitched into the 7th, which is pretty impressive for your first start of the year. But my play is actually on the under. I'm buying Lively a little bit here. I think we see some changes in his pitch speed, his spin rate. I think he's going to do all right. And we got some wind blowing in. And then if you look at Atlanta's weighted runs created plus, their offense versus righties on the season, they're number 2. They're excellent. But their last 14 days, which I think now it's time to start factoring in, they're 12th, 99, 1% below league average. But if they're going to hit league average against righties, and I got Cleveland at 20th at 13% below league average. I think the under's the play here. We got the my number 2 ranked bullpen in Cleveland, number 10 in Atlanta. So both pens I think can hold it down. Against each other's pitch mix, neither team is exactly crushing, on runs against above expected for what these guys throw. So my first official play today is going to be Cleveland under. I think there's Cleveland Atlanta. I think there's minus 105s out there.
Yeah, there are plenty of them. Shout out to you, their first under of the day. Admittedly, I lean under as well. And Justin McKelvey fuming because first game of the day, I find myself opposite of TJ. It's very funny there as well. So shout out to you, Justin. Somehow I hope you guys push. Somehow.
Well, I mean, Cleveland's been crushing overs. So I understand.
Yeah, as someone that's lost quite a few unders with the Guardians, I can agree. With that. So no action for me here. Let's move on to the cash cow play of the day, or one of them at least. There might be multiple. I'm assuming this is the only one as of now. Cash cow play of the day. Seems like the Baltimore Orioles are in that mix with my guy Paul Blackburn on the bump. This hurts my heart. Yeah, this hurts my heart. That sucks. Paul Blackburn, everyone knows, is one of my guys. I back him quite frequently. Though he's had some struggles in his last 2 starts. He started the season and he didn't give up a run for seemingly 4 starts in a row. It was crazy. But now at the Yankees last time, 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs. Cardinals 5 2/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. And the Orioles are very, very good. So it's a concern. It is a concern. Orioles in the last 2 weeks, 113 weighted runs created plus against righties, right behind the Boston Red Sox, though I probably assume that all those numbers came from yesterday. But that's tough here. Let's go to the market because the market will really tell us why the cash cow play of the day is what it is. Minus 192. Sorry. I was at minus 192. I saw that as minus 190 as the odds for the Orioles there. Percentage of the bets on the Orioles, 92%, 95% of the money on the Orioles there. So unsurprising there. And this opened up at minus 185. And on Bovada, it is now minus 200, minus 202. Bet Online actually still has this as a minus 188, which is pretty weird. But yeah, Bovada has this all the way up there already, and all the other books have minus 185 as well. So that's very interesting that Bovada, the first one to push that move there. Totals wise, let's go to the market there and see if this is indication. 50-50 ticket split, but 48% of the bets and 56% of the money on the under in this game. Doesn't seem like we have any movement as well. It opened up at 8 minus 120. So you could tell me this is already an 8.5 here. Actually, this went from 8 minus 120 to 8.5, then minus 122, and then eventually got up to 8.5 officially there. So interesting. No action for me here, but the O's will be in the cow cat parlay. So no specific action, but I will be on O's money line as a part of the parlay. TJ, any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, of all the games, I worry this might be a little bit of the trap game. Just because we have Blackburn, who we know, his consistency, his 3.8 Sierra, his 3.8 xFIP. He's done it for a couple years. He faced a Yankee lineup, gave up 4 and 6. Give him a little bit of a pass on that. Against St. Louis, Washington, Detroit, and Cleveland, he gave up a total of 3 earned runs. And the reason I say it might be a trap is just because I think Suarez is a bit of a wild card. He pitched in the 6 in his first 2, faced a couple subpar offenses in the Angels in Minnesota. To me, there's just too much unknown there to make a bet because I look at he throws 62% fastballs, and Oakland is 26 in baseball. It runs above average versus the fastball. So I don't think they're going to score much. Baltimore could blow up for 8, that's always possible. They're a great hitting team, especially against righties at home. Number 1 ISO, number 1 slugging. Obviously, you got a better bullpen in Oakland right now. Baltimore, I think their numbers will improve, but they're about league average right now. So there's not enough on either side for me to place a bet. If I was forced to, I would take the A's. on the money line, but yeah, I'm passing.
O's cash cow play of the day. Asking about the first 5 under guys. I don't want to play the under just because I think Paul Blackburn might give it up on his own. And shout out to Albert Suarez, who we heard Jimmy talk about. He played in the Venezuelan league and he got a chance to go pitch for the O's, and now he's gone back-to-back starts with no earned runs here out of nowhere. So shout out to Albert Suarez. I hope he keeps pitching well here. It's nice to see here.
Yeah, if they were against anyone but Oakland, I would say Suarez might be due to get rocked a little bit because now they had some tape on him before, but they're seeing what he's done in the bigs now. So
I agree with that.
It's Oakland, so
I agree with that wholeheartedly there. All right, let's keep it pushing. Dodgers, Toronto. I mentioned this off the top. I lost a bet with the Blue Jays yesterday. And it just seems like, you know what? The Dodgers are better. Hands up. Dodgers are better than the Blue Jays. I'm not going to bet them here. I almost bet them in game 1. They got their shit pumped. I bet them in game 2. They didn't get their shit pumped, but they lost. Now Kevin Gausman's on the bump, who I have had a negative opinion on kind of all year. I saw how fast he was throwing in the beginning of the year, and I was like, is this time? He might be washed already? And now he's gone back-to-back starts that have been pretty good. 6 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, none of them earned. We all remember the Vladdy error that cost a lot of people a first 5 under and a first 5 in that game. And then last before that, New York, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run there. Against Michael Grove, who is, I can assume probably the bullpen day opener here for the Dodgers here. I haven't updated RotoWire yet, so I will see if they have a primary, but I assume you will see some Ryan Yarbrough here as well. But I didn't really, want to move on any of this game. And yeah, right, Yarbrough is listed as the primary currently. So I didn't want to bet on this game, truthfully, because again, like I've seen the Dodgers just beat the Blue Jays in the last 2 days, and I've lost money on it already. So I just don't want to have any action on it. Now, it's very interesting, TJ, that 58% of the bets are on the Blue Jays here, but only 22% of the money. So 42% of the bets, 78% of the money on the Dodgers here. Sharp action, thinking that this is going to be a sweep, and I wouldn't blame them here. Wow, big line movement too. Man, I might be betting the Dodgers today. We had minus 125 here for the Blue Jays, now minus down to 113. This actually got down to minus 105 each way, and at one point was Dodgers favored at minus 108 on Bet Online. That's very interesting. On Bovada here, it opened up minus 125, now minus 118. So very interesting there. It flipped at one point to give the Dodgers being favored, and then it's just flipped back to the Blue Jays. So that line movement will have me stay off probably, but that's very interesting that this flipping is happening here. TJ, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, so for some of that flipping, when you get a move big enough to switch faves, I think a lot of the guys that are betting, those sharps that are betting 10 dimes a game, they're coming back on the other side a little bit. So I think it's always going to bounce back. I don't see how the Dodgers don't get to Gausman today. He just hasn't been himself since the arm fatigue. It kept him out of spring training. He came in, did okay versus the Rays, but his first 3 starts, he didn't pitch 5 innings. Then KC got him for 3 last game out. Dodgers number 1 weighted runs created plus on the season, number 1 last 14. Go down to Toronto, number 21 and 22 over that span. And let me just give you the Dodgers rankings versus right-handed pitching away. Number 1 average, number 1 weighted runs created plus, number 3 in walks, 1 OBP, 1 OPS, 2 ISO, and 1 slugging. So these guys are just ripping the cover off the ball as expected. They had that little hiccup, last week 14 to 7 days ago. They lost the series to Washington. They lost another series. But I think we're seeing them come back to life. Obviously, Grove is, only going to be in there about 3 innings. But the Dodgers pen, they're average to above average. I'm sure they plan for this. I think they'll be all right. I'm going to double up here. I'm going to take Dodgers first 5 money line and Dodgers full game money line. Going for that sweep is a little iffy. Sundays can be a trap, but the Dodgers lineup, they got Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, Hernandez, Muncy in. Those are the guys I want to see. Looks like Toronto also has their full lineup as a go, trying not to get swept. But Otani looks like he's on a mission. He got out there and got those boos. He's
Yeah.
going to get those everywhere he goes. So watch out.
That was crazy. I mean, I understood why Toronto especially boos him because allegedly he almost went there, but
Right.
just crazy. Immediately home run and then like the hardest hit ball of his career the next day. So Rocco Rogers said he wanted to back Otani, and I can see why you would. Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna stay off this game. But it's definitely Dodgers for me. I lean
Yeah.
Dodgers. Go ahead.
Yeah. Nutflush has a good point. A lot of these Dodgers saw Gosman a lot. So that's even another thing in their favor.
Yeah. So shout out to you there, Nutflush Allen. Nice to see you. And happy birthday, I believe, Nutflush Allen. I think your birthday is today because I saw Pete's video for you, Nutflush, and I fucking cried. And then I obviously immediately bet the Nashville Predators last night. I think I got it at -120. I obviously don't look at hockey line, so hopefully that's like -140 or whatever now. So whatever. But let's get after this next game. Royals Tigers here. Tariq Skubal on the bump, and goddamn did I wish this line was lower because I wanted to back Skubal. Obviously, I was a little annoyed that I lost the bet yesterday. They just scored like 5 runs in like the 8th inning, and then they just snuck out the game. And I was okay, whatever. I don't get as annoyed when a team or like my starter gives up like 6 runs in an inning. Those are the bets that I especially feel like okay, I was on the right side. But he just had a shit inning or whatever happened. If my team gets consistently like 1 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs consistently, then I feel like a fucking jackass. But I mean, I personally, I think this line's a little bit too high. Michael Wacha is competent, and I think he is a good pitcher. He's coming off 4 1/3, 8 hits, 2 earned runs versus Toronto. Toronto knows him pretty well too from his days in Boston, and he still pitched well. He also pitched well against the White Sox, but who cares? That's the White Sox. Shout out to the White Sox for a winning streak, though. Skubal dominated the Tampa Bay Rays, 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, and then struggled in quotation marks against the Rangers, 6 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, only 2 of them earned. So I still believe in the guy. I still think he's one of the better lefties in baseball, but this is a tough game. 7.5. Probably right about where the line should be, honestly. Crazy that 88% of the bets, 80% of the money are on the Tigers. I think Michael Wacha deserves a little more respect than that, true personally. But this line did open up at -145. Open is now -156. It's -163. So it's gone their way. I get it. So totals wise here, 53% of the bets and 68% of the money on the over. Very interesting. I can't believe people are betting the over in this game, and it hasn't moved. Still 7.5 juice to the under. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely an under game for me. I can't believe people are betting over, especially with these offenses. But what do you think here, TJ?
Yeah. I think they're happy to take over money right now just because people see 7.5. So I think they're naturally inclined to go to the over. And I'm going to slow down, I promise, but I do have a bet on this, and it's on the under. I won't have bets on every game, but Casey's terrible versus left-handed pitching. I mean, 69 weighted runs created plus last 14, and it's not a small sample. They faced a lot of lefties. Detroit isn't exactly ripping the cover off the ball. You got a Detroit bullpen that's excellent. KC started terribly. They're starting to come back to about league average. Detroit at home, 29th in batting average, 26th in weighted runs created plus. There's just a lot of things pointing to the under here. Walker's good, man. He's no slouch. He's done this for a long time. He's going to do okay versus a horrible offense. So 7.5. Yeah, even if it drops down to 7 at a little bit of plus money, I don't think it's a bad bet.
I think I would love it. I would love it if it dropped to a 7. I really would. I think I'll join you here on the full game under. So I forgot who said it, but I think it was a primetime. Someone said, primetime said it's very humid, but the wind's blowing in though. And I just went to go look at Swish, 10-mile-an-hour winds to 11-mile-an-hour winds blowing in. Yeah, I'll be on the full game under here as well.
Yeah, and I saw
crazy.
Sorry, Jose. I saw the when I looked at it, it was blowing from slightly in from first to third, and that's just going to help Scooball even more, get more movement. So
Yeah, full game under -120 for me. I mean, I think it's crazy that people are betting the over in this game with these offenses that aren't very good. So I'm on there with you. Second, well, I guess third official play. You guys will hear the plays as they come up now, but I do have 3 in now. Let's go to a next game here. I bet the under in this game earlier in the season, a series at cash. It was nice. Cardinals Mets. It's very forgettable. Like these teams used to be like, staples of baseball. Like you just hear so much news about the Cardinals and Mets, and who cares about this series right now? Like it's so funny to me. Lance Lynn versus Jose Quintana. And we all know that I, for some reason, have a prejudice against chubby pitchers. I don't know why. And Jimmy tells me it's the way they look. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. But I have not backed Lance Lynn, and he's had a very good year thus far. I will tip my hat to him. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs against Arizona. Okay. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned against Oakland. He just keeps doing his normal, just throw fastballs that move in slightly different directions, and no one seems to hit it. I don't know why. Versus Jose Quintana, who, again, another pitcher that I don't have a high opinion on, and he pitches well this year. His last start was shaky against the Giants. 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs. But he pitches well against Detroit, Pittsburgh, where he used to be at, actually. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run there, and a 3-1 victory. Let's talk about the market in this game. I could easily see this being another under game, but I don't really want to have action on this game, if I'm being honest. 68% of the bets and 60% of the money on the Mets, and it seems like the line has moved towards them at the very least. This was a -110 opener, now -126. Okay, well, I guess the books are a little concerned about this Mets money, so it does seem like the Mets might be the side here. Bovada opened this at a -119, now -133 for the Mets. That's interesting. 63% of the bets, 58% of the money on the over. And did this, in fact, drop from an 8.5 to an 8? No, this is an 8, and it still really hasn't moved much. This is why action openers cannot be trusted. I'm no action for me here. I could see this being an under game. I could easily see this being a Mets win now based on that line movement. But I don't want to have any action. The Mets make me I don't know what it is about the Mets. It's just I start becoming like a negative Mets fan as soon as I bet them, and I don't want that on my life here, TJ. What do you think?
yeah, I'm kind of mad at myself for not getting this at like -112 last night. But I'm not going to play it now. I think it's probably priced correctly. The thing that's concerning, and the reason I think the Mets are taking money is Lance Lynn throws almost 70% fastball cutters, and those are the Mets' 2 best pitches. They're crushing the fastball and the cutter, but I don't want to put my money on Quintana. St. Louis is not good against lefties, but he just seems to blow up, or his advanced numbers are terrible. He's got a Sierra of nearly 5, xFIP 506, and an expected ERA of 6.61, which is well over his 4.21 ERA. So he's been getting lucky and still been doing poorly. So I would trust the Mets bats more, but I don't trust Quintana. I don't really know what to do with this game, so it's an easy pass, and it is a boring game. I don't know what's up with these teams, like you said, but it's not something I want to watch. So, yeah.
Definitely not a game I will be watching either. I lean towards the Mets, but no action for me here. Panger Life, Jimmy does not go on the weekends. Jimmy rests on the weekend, except for this weekend. He actually FaceTimed me, probably a little intoxicated, very excited, though, from Woodbine yesterday with Spenny Penny Bomb. So that looked fun. Shout out to them. Let's go to my first bet of the day. And TJ, I believe you've bet this as well, right there with me. We said it yesterday. How the fuck are the Marlins favored against anyone? And I'm going to say it again, especially against the lefty. How the fuck are the Marlins favored by anyone? I was shocked to see this at a -136. I couldn't believe it. I thought they would make it lower from yesterday. I was like, okay, they'll make this, pick them Whatever.
Right.
I'll bet the Nationals. And I saw a plus 120. I was like, oh, thank you. I'll take that. A plus 123 full game money line for the Nationals for me. I'm not going to double up. And this is a bet I didn't even look at the market. I usually never do that. I did that twice today here. So the Nationals, I thought this was one of the easier bets I've made today. Now, why am I betting the Nationals here? First of all, Patrick Corbin's coming off of a back-to-back against the Dodgers, in which I did kind of just admittedly lay out the path for that fucking guy. I said after the first game against the Dodgers, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he pitches well, because back-to-backs tend to do that, and he pitched well. 5 1/3, 3 hits, no earned runs. They still lose the game, obviously, but shots at him for, I think, potentially building some confidence. And I hope that confidence rolls into the second game here with the Marlins, who are dog shit against lefties. Dog shit. A full season against lefties. 50 weighted runs created plus. Dead last. Last 2 weeks. 24th. 76 weighted runs created plus. So you can say they're hitting them better in the last 2 weeks than they have all season. But it's still bad. So I'll continue to fade the Marlins against basically any lefty. If they throw any lefty out there, I will bet on the lefty on the bump. So Nationals full game money line. I got plus 123 on it. One of the easier bets I've made today. And market wise, I don't know if I've mentioned this already. 75% of the bets. How are 75% of the bets on the Marlins? That makes no sense. 42% of the money on the Marlins. So sharp action on the Nationals here. That makes 0 sense why people will be betting the Marlins here. I don't understand that at all. The line really hasn't moved much with all those bets. It's now minus 136 now from a minus 138 opener. Oh, actually now minus 133. Interesting. Bet online. The site just has not been refreshed, so I'll do that now. And totals wise, 65% of the bets, 70% of the money on the over. I bet you this game goes under because these teams cannot hit lefties. The total did go up from 8.5, a juiced 8.5, minus 123, or sorry, a juiced 8, minus 123 to now an 8.5 there at minus 105. So I do think this game does go over or under though, because the Marlins cannot hit lefties. So I'm on Nationals full game. TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, where do the Nationals not have the advantage in this game? And why is a team that's 6-22 a favorite with Ryan Weathers on the mound, who's not even a real starting pitcher? It blows my mind. It makes me second guess. The books don't give out free money. So what's going on here? Corbin, had a great outing last time, so they're expecting him to come back and get rocked. I understand that logic, but not against Miami. But I think people auto bet against Corbin, and I think people auto bet the over when Corbin pitches. What has Weathers done? He's been okay. Washington, the last 14, rank 11th. They're 15% above league average against lefties. And they're just, to me, they got 12. When they're 12-14, I mean, they're not a terrible team. They got advantage in the bullpen, clearly, and offensively. So I took them also at, I think, like plus 129-ish. But, for the purposes of this show, we'll go with whatever the current line is. I think you could do a lot worse than taking Washington as a dog. So they're definitely on my card.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, this was an easy bet for me. Nationals. Let's keep on rolling here. Now, let's talk Brewers Yankees. I typically, when I lose 2 bets on a series, I tend to stay off at that point. I'm like, you know what? I've made myself the asshole twice here. Let's not make myself the asshole a third time, and let's just stay off. Now, I especially feel like the asshole here because, of course, I bet Yankees game 1. We lose in extras. And I come into the show yesterday saying Yankees, Yankees, Yankees in my head. I look at the market. I do a fucking 360 flip onto the Brewers. I bet the Brewers, and the Yankees fucking hammer them. So I'm like, okay, classic. Why? That's just classic. So why am I going to put myself on the line here again? I don't know.
Yep.
Troy Torrance is putting the Yankees as the sharp trap here. And let's talk about why that is, because the line must be moving some way. 82% of the bets, 93% of the money on the Yankees here. And this line has dropped from minus 127 to minus 124. It was at one point minus 130. So very interesting. Slight movements there. Totals wise, 79% of the bet, 76% of the money on the over, and we don't have much movement there. It's actually slight movement to the under, if anything. Tobias Myers pitched well in his first game, but, I don't know. I don't know if I can really trust the guy. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run against Pittsburgh it's Pittsburgh. They're just not good this year anymore, apparently. And Marcus Stroman is a guy that I've backed this year at several points here. Minus 125 is pretty cheap here for the Yankees. It's pretty cheap here. What do you think?
Yeah, it is cheap for the Yankees considering they're the Yankees. But if the line's moving the other way, and I look into the market movement a little bit, especially in games with 93% of the money and moving the other way, really makes you question it. I don't trust Myers. I mean, this guy's been in the minors since 16 and had his first major league start this year. That's 8 years in the minors. He spent a lot of time in A-ball, went up to AAA, back down to AA, back up to AAA with 6 different organizations. That should be a red flag. You got 2 good bullpens. Yankees are horrible versus fastballs, which Tobias Myers throws 50% of the time, surprisingly. I was shocked to see how bad they are against fastballs. So I don't know what to do with this one. I'm going to play it safe and pass like you are. Both teams hit righties well. Milwaukee's a great, they're off to a great start. Yankees always take money. I just don't know what to do. So it's an easy pass.
Agreed. I'll pass, though I believe Troy Torrance will be on the Yankees here. Very interesting indeed. And Coin leans under. I probably lean under as well with you, Coin. And Robert Martin, by the way, he's got very interesting bets going on in the chat with his buddy. He's going to bet the Yankees. And if he wins, he also gets a pair of 26-inch rims, apparently, too. So there you go, Robert Martin. There you go. Yankees in the rims for him.
That might be one like we saw. Who made that bet against Jimmy and then never showed back up?
I don't remember that, but shout out to all the people that make bets in the chat, and shout out to Justin McCalvey who makes some pays and got paid once.
Nice.
Once. He's made multiple, but he got paid back once. So shout out to Justin there. I think he has, at least. I don't remember. But let's talk about the hottest team in the Major League Baseball league. Your Chicago White Sox. 2-0. Andrew Benintendi. Walk-off home run. Shout out to him. The best moment of his career since he left Boston. And that is a very sad fact. I didn't want to back any team here. I think both these teams are horrible. But are we really going to expect the Chicago White Sox to sweep the Tampa Bay Rays here, guys? Is this what we're going to see? I don't know if I believe that. Now, Littell, you could say arguably is the best pitcher left on the Rays. He is coming off of a shit start, 6 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned against the Tigers. It makes him a little appealing here. Fetty coming off of another good start, and he's been pretty solid this year. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. It's amazing what going to Korea and being the best pitcher in Korea will do for you. Just unlocks all this confidence, apparently, and makes you an amazing pitcher. Hilariously here, 88% of the bets, 97% of the money on the Rays. Jesus. That is really funny. And apparently this opened up at minus 180. I don't believe that, though. Allegedly, this opened up at minus 180 and has just plummeted down to the White Sox this whole time.
Yep.
That's real life, TJ?
It is. It was 177 this morning. Minus 172 bet line. It went to 176 and now it's 132. So those are real. So, I mean, It doesn't make any sense. The
Guys,
books, yeah.
I mean, we have to take the White Sox now. We have to. I mean, come on. That's crazy.
It's insane. It's the craziest move I've seen this season. Going for the White Sox to sweep. Ugh, I don't know.
All right, guys. I'll trust the gambling gods here. I'll trust the market makers. I'll trust the syndicates out there, whoever does this shit. White Sox money line plus 125 for me. Jesus Christ. That's crazy.
It is, especially considering like White Sox at home, they're horrible against righties. Tampa Bay's been okay on the road. So White Sox have a better bullpen right now, which is surprising.
God.
My modeling has this thing 3.6 to 3 point. I mean, it has it as a 0.1 run game. So, in favor of Tampa. So that should be an auto bet at plus 125. I couldn't do it. But I think it's the right side somehow.
Yeah, Nasty Nate's right. The Brewers in the same spot fucked me yesterday, but I'll continue to make these bets. I think at the end of the season, I'll be above 60%. If I track these bets specifically, I'd be above 60%. That's crazy. White Sox win this game. They'll go for the sweep, I guess. So I'm on. That line movement is, in fact, the craziest one I've seen all year.
I agree with Kenny Wu. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-GAMBLER if you're wagering on this game. But I see your point.
This is a game. This will be a bet that I text Jimmy about. I'm going to text Jimmy about this bet. I'm going to send him the picture of the market and send him what happened. And I guarantee you he'll be like, okay, I'm going to bet the White Sox.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be very funny. So I don't do that often. So I'm sure he'll be ears up about it. And it's going to be hilarious. So it's going to be the game of the day for me now. Yesterday was the Yankees because I made that 180 flip. And then obviously the Brewers said, fuck you. But I'm interested to see how this goes. Next game, yeah. I didn't think we were gonna have to take 5 seconds on that game, TJ. I had no idea that we were gonna be betting the White Sox today. That is hilarious.
Yeah, and Rocco, I would agree with you, Rocco, but it's still going down. Like when it got down in the 140s for Tampa and plus 130 for the White Sox, that's when the sharps are going to buy back. But nobody's buying this back. It's still going down. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm assuming I haven't looked at the start times for these games because I really don't care. Obviously, they start when they start, but I'd be very interested to see what this line closes at. I will be very interested to see because, like you're saying, it keeps dropping. Yep. So we'll just have to I'll make a mental note, hopefully, to check the line at the end of the show to see if it's dropped even more. Rangers Reds. The Reds beat the shit out of the Rangers yesterday, and Hunter Green pitched really, really well. So shout out to him. I'll tip my hat to you, sir. Andrew Abbott, a lefty that I really like on this team versus Dane Dunning. Doesn't have the magic of last year, apparently. He's pitched okay. He's seemingly good for like 5 innings, 3-4 runs every time. But truly not something I want to put my money on, honestly. 84% of the bets, only 57% of the money on the Rangers here. So you could say sharper action, bigger bets on the Reds yet again. This line yet again has dropped towards the Reds. Minus 127 opener, now minus 120 for the Rangers. So that does make the Reds more appealing to me. And as you see with most Rangers games now, 83% of the bets, 84% of the money on the over. So that's not really surprising there. This was a juiced 8.5 at one point. Now is a 9 across the board, minus 106, minus 105-ish to the over here. TJ, any action here? The Reds do seem semi-appealing.
I do, and I thought the Reds would regress this year. They are. I think people had very, very high expectations of them, and I haven't bet them a lot, but I saw this at plus 116 last night and took it. I just don't trust Dunning. I think he's been in the league long enough for us to know who he is. Last year was his best year, but his advanced metrics were almost exactly what they were the 2 years prior, where he was a mid 4s to 5 ERA. He's there again this year. He's he's got some indicators. His expected ERA is a 7.03, and he's not getting through the lineup more than 1.5 to 2 times. So my modeling has Cincinnati winning this by 0.6 runs. I just his main. Let's see what I wrote here. Dunning's main pitch is the sinker, and Cincinnati's the third best team in the sinker. Abbott hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in a start, and he's faced Philly twice, the Mets, Seattle, at Chicago. Obviously, they're terrible, but he's been impressive. Cincinnati's got the better bullpen right now. At a dog, I don't see why not take Cincinnati here. So I'm officially on that thing.
I'm leaning Reds here. I have them written down, and we'll see as I go through the end of this card here. If I'm lacking on some more action here, I will potentially add them here as well. I do like the Reds though as well, and hopefully again by the end of the program, the line continues to move towards the Reds and makes me feel better because again, I'll keep saying it. CLV is great, but I do enjoy seeing the line move towards my bet and makes me feel more confident about it. Now, it's not 100% a fair, obviously. Nothing is, but hopefully it continues to hit well today. All right, let's talk about the Mexico City game, part 2. It was very funny, again, to just be following on Gamecast. I think I was still golfing at the time and just being annoyed. I said yesterday I was going to bet both unders, or bet the unders in both games, I should say. And I think I would come out 2-0 or 1-1 and be happy with it. Now we had a push yesterday because the gambling gods obviously know how many runs every team's going to score apparently. So I bet this last night. It was one of the rare totals bets I make the night previous, just because I knew I was going to bet it already. I took the 16.5 because again, I tweeted, we learned yesterday that half run is very valuable. I took the under 16.5 minus 115 here. Now, I saw who was pitching, which made me a little more confident, but I didn't even have to do the much research to bet it because I said yesterday I was going to bet it. But it is nice to see Framber Valdez on the bump. Now he's coming off of an elbow IL injury stint, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he does. There's no minor league rehabs for him as well, so that's always a little bit of a red flag for me as well. But the main thing that's going for him here, he's a ground ball pitcher. He's a ground ball pitcher, and hopefully his sinkers just fly into the earth. We'll have a slow start to this game. The Rockies suck. Austin Gomber, probably the best pitcher on the Rockies. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. But he's been a king of the first 5 last year. I backed him at several points. I trust him. Under 16.5. I'll bet the unders in all of these games going forward now, probably.
So why not just take the first 5 under? Because the bullpens are freaking terrible.
What is it? 8.5? What is it?
I have to look at that up. First half.
Robert Martin saying must be hot in Mexico, eh? Yeah,
it's 8. Yeah, it's 8.5. 8.5.
8.5. That's interesting. Wind's blowing in again, by the way, for those. And it's 86 there, so it's allegedly hot, but that's not hot for the Astros guys, and not hot for Texas people.
I'm off this one. I was off it yesterday too. I'm mostly model based, and then I go in and analyze why the model's giving me that number, and I can't figure out how to get this baseball field into my model, and it's only 2 or 3 games a year, so it's not worth the time, to be honest. But if I was on it, I would be on Houston I'd be on the first half under, and I would probably take both teams minus 2.5 or something crazy. Just take them both because of the variance, and for a quarter of your normal unit size, something like that. Just because I think if you're not taking this one, some sort of run line in this one, you're probably doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, no, obviously money line's tough to bet here. And if you're betting the Rockies, you should be taking the minuses for sure. Minus 1s, 2s, whatever. I mean, I do think the Rockies are live here, truthfully. But I'll continue to bet the unders. I mean, obviously we all know about the elevation at this point. But 16 runs is a fuckload of runs. And we've seen at several points, it is very difficult to get there. And it takes every fucking inning to get there, especially last night. Now, TJ, you asked why I'm not on first five. I need all of the runs I can get. I need every single run I can be spared because there's going to be a lot of them. I know that. It's very funny. We pushed the total, and the Rockies only scored 4 runs yesterday, but we also pushed the total because they scored 6 runs in the 9th inning. So it's very interesting. And by the way, it was 2, 5, 6 runs in the first 5 innings there. So first 5 under doesn't look bad at all. Who knows? I might end up first 5 full game here as well. But it definitely does scare me that, it's 16. And this is Mexico City. There's home runs at any moment. So full game officially on my card, though. 16 and a half, minus 115. And Rocco, good point there. Look live for sure. If these guys start out well like we think, and you can get like a 10 and a half, 11 and a half, bet the fuck out of that over, because those runs are coming, especially off the Rockies bullpen.
Yep.
All right, let's keep it going. The game I didn't give a fuck about, TJ, is Pirates-Giants here. Keaton Winn, I have not bet once all season. I don't know what to make of Keaton Winn. I just don't know what to do. However, as I've said throughout the whole season now, after watching 2-3 starts, Jared Jones is comfortably the best pitcher on the Pirates. I think he's very good. He's 22, which is crazy. I want to feel even older. Born in 2001. That's crazy. He's pitched just well. Last 2 starts especially. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. 5 innings shutouts, 1 hit against the Mets. He's faced the Orioles and the Phillies this year and gave up 3 and 2 runs against them respectively.
Yep.
And I will say Keaton Winn, he started out 0-3. I remember that for sure. And I was like, okay, well, when is he going to drop out of the Giants rotation? But no, he's pitched really well in his last 2 starts as well. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run allowed in his 2 starts basically against the Marlins and the Mets. Now it's the Marlins, so whatever. But at least he backed it up with a good Mets start. He pitched well against the Rays, but again, that's the Rays. So I probably actually lean under in this game. Let's talk about the market. 76% of the bets, 85% of the money on the Giants. That's a little crazy. I guess it's everyone fading the Pirates because they suck. Minus 111 opener, now minus 105 each way for the Pirates. It makes it appealing. It does make it appealing. 75% of the bets, 73% of the money on the over. No respect. No respect. 7.5 total, minus 110 opener, now minus 120. I mean, this is a Pirates in the under spot, ladies and gentlemen, if I've ever seen one. TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm surprised by that money. The under, San Francisco's 72% of their games have gone under, which is a ton. Maybe they just think, maybe these sharps or the market just thinks that both these guys are due for a bad start because they've both been excellent, in my opinion. I mean, Sierra and xFIP wise, they're well above an average pitcher. The teams they've gone up against have not been terrible. They've been pretty good. The Dodgers, Phillies, Milwaukee, Baltimore, both these guys have faced good offenses, and they've come through unscathed. So I don't understand the money on the over. First 5 under would be my lean. I'm not going to bet this game. Pittsburgh's offense, God, they're 29th weighted runs created plus last 14. San Francisco's heating up a little bit. I might be, I'm going to have to look at this one later. I might bet San Francisco here, but yeah, it's a pass.
Interesting, because I kind of want to bet Pittsburgh. I really do. And by the way, as Top said, asked about the weather, 50, 60 degrees. The wind's blowing out, but we kind of know it in the Giants field. It swirls, so it doesn't really matter how hard the wind is blowing there. So that makes it a little more appealing. And I think you guys are right about a first 5 under here as well. I would rather stick with these two dudes. And G Martinez is mentioning that the Giants bullpen is ass and it is
Yes, it
taxed.
is. And yet they still hit under somehow. Yep.
That is hilarious. How the hell are they hitting so many unders? You say 70%?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I mean, it makes sense in my head because the Giants are always a low scoring pitcher like team. I don't know if that's just like me, but that is crazy. 70%.
I mean, it's a big
But
ballpark.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, that makes sense as well. Obviously. By the way, Taxed is right. You're not going to get Camilo Duvall today. He threw 18 pitches and 17 pitches. You're not going to get Tyler Rogers. He threw 17 and 16. Ryan Walker was the opener from the other day. He's not going. Luke Jackson and Taylor Rogers both threw yesterday, though I assume they'll probably go. That means you're left with Mitch White, who
Trash.
hasn't thrown in a while, Sean Helly, who's very tall, but has not thrown in a while, Eric Miller, I don't know who that is, and Landon Rupp, whatever. So first 5
Yeah.
under would be my play if I had to play a game.
This might be exactly like the Colorado-Houston game. First 5 under, bet it live when the starters come out, bet the over live. That's how I would approach it.
All right, let's see here. Let's see what the people think. Top Set likes the first 5 under here. Craig Wood, I do. I haven't pulled out the flag in quite a while. I'm itching. I'm itching to raise it, it seems. And Thistle Washington is putting the shirt off his back on this game. So
on what side?
That's a great
what
question. Great question. The shirt off your back play of the day from Mr. Washington as well.
Matty Ice, we are already on that Dodgers bet, or I am. Sorry.
Yeah. Dodgers on that card for good old TJ there. And I just don't want to make an ass of myself losing 3 bets on the series or 2 bets on a series already. So no thanks. But let's move on to what I think is the best pitching matchup of the night. Probably the most obvious under, but we'll see what the market says. Pablo Lopez, Reed Detmers. Everyone knows I love Pablo Lopez. He's my close personal friend. We, obviously talk all the time. But yeah, he's a beast. He's kind of struggled this year for his now lofty standards because he's been a bona fide ace for the last 2 years. So let's bring up his last few starts here. He went 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs against the White Sox of all people. So that's shocking. That was coming off of a 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run performance against the Orioles, and then another bad start against the Tigers. 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs there. So he has struggled for his, again, lofty standards, but I still believe in the guy. Still think he'll figure it out. Reed Detmers on the other side has pitched really well all season. He's coming off of his worst start as well. 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs against the Orioles. That is the Orioles, though. Has dominated the rest of the AL East and dominated the Orioles in his first start of the season as well. So I immediately do. I mean, this is again, the most obvious underplay for me. Let's talk about the market now. 60% of the bets, but only 49% of the money on the Twins. So pretty split. I can understand why it's a tough game. Not much movement here. Only 2 cents, 3 cents of movement towards the Angels. So not much to go on there for me. Totals wise, oh my God, dude. Why are people betting the over? 80% of the bets, 77% of the money on the over. Just no faith in Pablo Lopez anymore? Don't trust the guy? That's crazy. This opened up, again, TJ, please correct me if I'm wrong. This opened up at a juiced 8.5 under, which, again, you could tell me that's an 8. That's fine. But then this goes down to 7.5 and then pops back up to 8. That is an interesting line movement right there. And I'm glad that's real life because, I mean, that under, again, it just seems so obvious to me. But 80% of the bets are on the over here, TJ. What do you make of this?
Well, so what we've seen this year with a full point on the total, if you're on the over, I would wait because you're going to see a 7.5 again. It's going to be juiced. So depending on your theory or philosophy on which is better, an 8 over with no juice or a 7.5 over minus 115. Anyway, either way, if you're on the over, which I would not be, wait. I don't understand how Minnesota isn't a bigger favorite. They're crushing lefties. I had to do a double check on that. Reed Detmers, he's obviously a good lefty, above average. Minnesota has a clear bullpen advantage. The Angels are terrible. The Angels are only winning 27% of their home games. Obviously, it's early in the season. Minnesota versus lefties, on the road, third in average, fifth in weighted run created plus, fourth in on-base percentage, fifth in an OPS, sixth in slugging. Angels are just mediocre to below average versus righties at home. Righties overall in the season, they're well below average, and Minnesota's well above versus lefties. So first 5 Minnesota, I need to look at that price. I actually didn't bet this yet. Normally I bet pretty early. Minus 110, pick 'em. Yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota first 5 at a pick 'em here.
I'm getting a 7.5 for that total at even money. Man.
On the under?
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That is just nuts. Matty Ice saying, good, let them bet the over. Are you on the under, Matty Ice?
What's the weather? Did you already say
weather? That? No, I haven't. Thank you.
Probably beautiful in Southern California.
70 degrees, lovely, but 8-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, goes up to 9-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out. You know what? It says the weak wind factors. I'll stay off. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll stay off.
I grew up in that stadium. I lived 10 minutes away. I've probably been to 200-300 games. I don't know that 9 miles per hour is enough to affect the ball too much. But I don't blame you for staying off. The market's kind of weird on it right now.
I'm definitely going to write it down, and we'll come back to it. Matty Ice on the under, and we will talk about that at the end of the program here. So the card's shaping up here, at least. I'm definitely not going to be lacking for action, so that's nice. Let's keep on rolling here. We have a few games left. Thank you, TJ, as always, for joining us here on these lovely Sundays with you. We're making you work here on a Sunday on Say Hey Place. We appreciate you. Let's talk about this 6.5 here. Now, we've heard Mikey Money and Dabby Cab preach that no first 5 total should be a 3.5 here. And we're getting a full 6.5 in this game. But Logan Gilbert and Brandon Pfaadt, 2 pitchers I love. I think they're both really good. I think Brandon Pfaadt, after that playoff resurgence, comeback, he pitched amazing. I think he's going to be really good. I especially think he's going to pitch well in this, next few weeks because Zach Gallen just went down. Now, him and Merle Kelly are going to be the 1 and 2s, and I think there's going to be, a little responsibility, a little burden on his shoulders there. And I think he's going to rise up to that. But do I want to bet it here? A 3.5? Well, I want to double check, and I would love to see if it's a 3.5 on my book, because I'm just making assumptions here based off the total. Yep, 3.5, even money.
Yeah, you can get over 3.5 at even money. It could move down to 3.
That's nuts. That's nuts. I understand that both these offenses are anemic, and both these offenses, especially against these pitchers, are not good. But Seattle against righties, last 2 weeks, 131 weighted runs created plus, second best in baseball. Yep. Now, Arizona is third to last, actually, 67 in the last 2 weeks. However, let's look at their full game numbers. Will that make you feel a little better about betting this? Full year, 26, 83. Good God. All right. I'll write down the first 5 over here. I won't love that I will potentially be on it because I love both these pitchers. But let's talk about the market, and Craig, we'll get into the weather here in the second here as well. All right. Money line here, 81% of the bets, 86% of the money on the Seattle Mariners. That's a lot of money and not much movement, it seems like, on it. Actually, it opened up at minus 150, and it has dropped to minus 130, minus 137 now, interestingly enough. It went down to minus 129 at one point, but Interesting. And TJ, you like you just said, you expect there to be buyback when it drops down that much because sharps are buying the other side.
Yeah, if they could get if they took Arizona plus 138 and then they can get Seattle minus 129, that's a either guaranteed push or guaranteed 10%, well, 8% profit. And when you're betting 5 to 10K a game, that's a good ROI. It's boring for, if you're only betting 20 bucks a game, it's going to take a long time to make money that way. But you have to think a lot bigger for a lot of these guys. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Like initially, it seemed Seattle was the play, but why is the line coming down with the money on Seattle? Both pitchers are about even, really, in the advanced metrics. XFIP, Sierra, they both have a 3.52 expected ERA. So you got two good pitchers, but Seattle's got a much better bullpen. Seattle's hitting righties a lot better. Everything points to Seattle for me. So I'm kind of confused, and when I'm confused, I stay off.
You know what's crazy about this too? Total opened up at a 7.5.
Yeah.
So we saw this drop from a 7.5 all the way down to the 6.5 we see now. And I just went to go look at the total for the first 5 specifically, and that was a 4, and that's dropped to 3.5 now. And that again is with 79% of the bets and 72% of the money on the over. So, man,
yeah, so it's telling you Arizona in the under.
Yeah, it is. So at the very least, again, and Jimmy and I have talked about this. I think I'm going to bet Arizona here. I'll take Arizona full game, and I'm going to take the disgusting first 5 under here. And I know, TJ,
You're going to get shit on.
As soon as I tweet out first 5 under 3.5, Dabby Cab is going to text me. Mike M will DM me about how fucking bad they've been. I think they're 0-2 this year. And I'll just roll with it. I'll roll with it. So first 5 under in Arizona will be on my card. I will bet that at the end of the program here. So that's going to be very sweaty indeed. God, and it's the worst thing about the 3.5 is just a one swing just fucks you up, and it's just scary. So that's going to be fun. All right, 2 more games. Game I didn't give a fuck about personally. Michael King and the Padres versus the Phillies here. This is 2 good teams, but like, do I care? I don't. I really don't. I don't know what it is. Now let's talk about Taijuan Walker, who's making his debut on the season, which is nice to see. He's a good pitcher. He was at a shoulder injury. His minor league rehabs or spring training, whatever you want to call it, he pitched in single A first, 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, then went up to triple A and went to back-to-back against the triple A Yankees, which that matters to you, whatever. But 6 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs there. So he's not pitching terribly. Again, I think that back-to-back spot probably led him to get touched up a little more. But I just don't want to play this game. It's definitely Mets or nothing for Mets. Phillies are nothing for me here because, again, I just think the Phillies are a better team. But market doesn't agree with me. 66% of the bets, 73% of the money on the Padres, and this line opened up at minus 130, and it just climbed to minus 147, minus 150 around the board. So very interesting. A lot of Padres love there. 67% of the bets, 67% of the money on the over. TJ, any thoughts on this one?
Typically, if there's a pitcher coming back from injury, that's probably going to put me off. I just don't know how they're going to respond. The market definitely would put me off Philly. I mean, San Diego's getting a ton of love. That line's moved quite a bit. Michael King, I don't think he's got a 4.11 ERA, 4.64 expected. I don't think he's this great pitcher. He's, he'll do all right in San Diego, where they limit runs anyway. But yeah, it's not that I'm not interested in the game. I think it will be a good game, especially if Taijuan Walker can go. Here's the other thing. Michael King's only pitched once at home. So he's had 6 outings, all of them on the road. His one home start against the Giants, he only went 4, gave up 2. But that was early before he's now pitching into the 7th or 8th inning, except for his last start at Colorado, which I don't care about. Philadelphia's crushing righties right now, 123rd weighted runs created plus, or 123, not 123rd. San Diego's hitting righties well. Might be an over game. Kind of too many question marks for me, so I'm going to be off.
Yeah, no action for me here. And TJ, we're coming to the point of the show where I'm sitting here looking at my piece of paper with all my notes and my bets. I'm just sitting here staring at them. I'm staring at them. It's like, what am I going to bet? What am I going to do? And I'm just like, oh, God, it's time to make a decision. And I'm just like, Jesus.
No bet is better than a losing bet.
Yeah, it is. That's facts there. Red Sox, Cubs, last game of the day. I should say last game of the series too. I should say. It was nice. It was nice cashing a Red Sox bet very easily. It felt like the shackles were just released from me, and I could now run free. But it's interesting here that they're such, I wouldn't say such big favorites, but this is pretty significant. I know it's a Cubs bullpen day with good old Hayden Wesneski on the bump. I think I saw max like 2 innings from him this year. I forgot.
Jose, I got you frozen. Does the rest of the chat have you frozen?
Out there, it didn't matter. So that was nice. Chris Martin can go today. Weiser, Jansen will all in arms. So this is lovely little shutdown. I don't know how fucking long I was gone there, but that was lovely. I don't know how long. So nice to see everyone. Sorry, I don't know why the page just shut down there. But all right, back to it. Apologies. Minus 143 now for the Red Sox. A bunch of movement, a bunch of money on them, and the line has moved towards their direction. So I do like the Red Sox in this game. I don't know if I'm gonna move on them. It's a little expensive. Maybe I'll put them in the parlay, but no action for me in this game. With that small break in there in between. So no action, TJ. Anything for you? And sorry for leaving you hanging there.
Oh, that's no problem. I think it booted me too after a minute. But no, shout out to Hauk for being boosted on MLB The Show. That was fun for a little bit. He pitched a complete game shutout against Cleveland and then has to face them again and only gives up 2.
It was impressive.
Yeah, 3 of his 5 outings have he hasn't allowed a run. I'm a believer. His advanced metrics really look good. Wesneski, we can count on him for 2, maybe 3 innings. So there's not a lot of, you're basically betting on the Cubs bullpen, which has not been great. Maybe league average to slightly below. I don't like the Cubs away from Wrigley. I have made quite a bit betting on them at home, but not away from Wrigley. Boston after a huge blowout win, I think I had to look back, and I contacted a friend on this one in the database, but after a win of 10 or more, the ROI on that team coming back is like negative 14%.
Wow.
So, and that's over like a 10-year span. So obviously the rules changed last year. So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, this is I'd love to bet it because it's Sunday Night Baseball. And I won't have any action going on except the Ranger game at that point. So I'll probably just play some show, watch the Rangers, and skip this one.
Shout out to MLB The Show, indeed. All right, let's get a little review in here. And this is where, and again, the show really gets dicey for me. This is when the decisions have to be made and wagers have to be placed. So it's going to be fun. And yeah, I do think the Red Sox win this game, though. So I do think the Red Sox win. All right. Man, this is going to be a fun game or fun card to decipher here. So the bets that I'm making currently and deciding on, I'm going to bet the Cincinnati Reds full game money line. I am on that officially there. I got plus 109. Rangers aren't very good against lefties. That makes me feel good. I should have checked who will be available in the bullpen for the Reds before making the bets, but I'll do it now because I'd love for my guy Alexis Diaz. He only threw 7 pitches yesterday, and it's a very very rested bullpen, so good. At least we'll have the good guys there. So yeah, I'm on the Cincinnati Reds full game money line. I'll stay off the Pirates game. You'll stay off the under in the Pirates game, and I will also stay off the under in the Minnesota Angels game. So I'll stay off those. The bets that I have made, I know that's what people care about a lot more than what I haven't made. Bets I have made, I'm on the under 16.5 minus 115 in the Rockies Astros game. I am on the Nationals plus 123. I am on the Tigers, and these are full game money lines. I haven't bet any first fives. And I am on the Tigers Royals under 7.5 minus 120. The White Sox. The Chicago White Sox. I will make the Chicago White Sox a 2-unit play because they will also be the other leg of the Bouquett parlay here. I'm putting the White Sox in the parlay. They are plus 125 individually, and I will put them with the Baltimore Orioles. And I will let you guys know what the price on that is when TJ is going over his bets. But that is essentially now a 2-unit bet for me. Let's go, White Sox. Go get that fucking sweep here. I can't wait now. It's going to be fun. And it's over 2-1. So that's going to be a pretty decent parlay if I do indeed hit that. Arizona Diamondbacks full game money line plus 125 as well. And I am on the treacherous first 5 under 3.5 minus 120 there. It is going to be very sweaty. And I just told you guys I bet the Reds and the Bouquett parlay, Orioles, White Sox for me. TJ, tell me about it.
Yeah, you're either gonna get so much props for taking that over, or you're going to get shit on. Or taking that under, or you're going to get absolutely destroyed. So props to you for having the cojones to go there. So these first 5 bets I had in before the show, 3 bets I made during the show, which now I see why Jimmy says is always a challenge with 8 screens up and trying to talk and make bets. But there we are. I'm on the Cleveland Atlanta under 9 minus 105. I doubled up on the Dodgers, both at plus money, the first 5 and money line, plus 105, plus 103. I am on KC Detroit under 7.5, Washington plus 122. I added Cincinnati plus 110, Minnesota first 5 minus 110, and after our analysis, I added Houston, Colorado, first 5 under 8.5. So 8 bets for me today, which is higher than my average 5 to 6. It's a Sunday. Crazy things happen on Sunday. We'll see.
Yeah. Do you have any hockey action in, TJ? Because I've already, like I said, I bet the Nashville Predators yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
So I have a Nashville Predators bet in there minus 120. So I won't be watching the game, but I will definitely have my interest peak during the game. It is now minus 135. So that makes me feel good. Shout out to Peter Loshak. Do you have any hockey bets out there that you want to share with the people?
So I turned 40 in 2 weeks, and I have learned over 20 plus years of betting that I suck at betting hockey and football. So I just don't do it. I mean, I'd still bet football because you have to, because it's a blast.
Sure.
But I'm a homer, man. So I would just bet the Rangers every day. And I
Okay.
don't know if that would I don't know if that would make money or not. So I have learned to just stay the hell away from hockey. I know a lot about it. I grew up playing it. I'm a huge fan. I can't bet it. I don't know why. So I stick with baseball because I make money, you know?
That's funny. That's funny. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And good luck tonight with your Rangers. I hope that shit happens for you because the Rangers are good, and I did pick them in a hockey pool to go far. So
Solid.
it's gonna be fun.
And I
by
think
the
I
way,
was leading the Pub Sports Radio pool there at least a while ago. I don't know if I'm still up there or not. I got to look at that.
Yes. Let us know here while we're doing that. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Nasty Nate hates a homer. Yeah, I would agree with you, Nasty Nate. Who wants to listen to a homer? You know, shout out to you, Nasty Nate. The Red Sox are the
Yeah.
Boston trifecta.
That's why I don't have a
Nate.
baseball team.
Boston trifecta cast yesterday, Nate. Celtics, Bruins, Sox. It's a good time there. Shout out to Craig Wood. Buster Bayhu's thinking that I'm having a rough day, and the Reds bet's already a loss. So, Buster, I'll be seeing you tomorrow. It's going to be very fun there as well. Coin, Bag back. Frank, Virginia. Justin McKelvey, Old E, Todd Clinton, Josh Lower, Ramon Scott in the chat. Shout out to you, Ramon. Nice to see you as well. And yes, it's nice to see it. Nice to scroll back and see the frozen Jose. No, back when I was dead for a second. So it's nice to see you guys. Craig, Air Dog. Nice to see everyone in the chat as always. We'll be back here tomorrow. I'm actually not going to be on the sesh tomorrow. I have another show to produce in the morning, unfortunately. But I will be on Last Call with Mikey Money, obviously. We'll be talking about the card. I'll be sending him my bets. It'll be a lot of fun. TJ, where can the people find you?
Yeah, find me on Twitter. I'm not super active, but I certainly answer DMs, and a couple people have reached out to me on some modeling questions. So that's pretty cool. I like to talk about that. I am sitting in second in the Pub Sports Radio NHL pool, which is awesome. And I have bad news about the White Sox bet. This guy Buster that's been busting our balls a little bit, he says, when Tampa Bay team played as a road team during a day game versus AL Central, coming off a 2-game losing streak, coming off a road loss as a favorite, they're 13-3. So I'm sorry, that's a loser based on that data. Yeah.
No, it's fair. Hey, well, it's going to be a 2-unit loss then, Buster. So I will give you your props tomorrow then when it happens, Buster. So good luck to you, my man. Top set, Frag, thanks. Nasty Nate. It's nice to see you guys as always. Let's cash these tickets. TJ, thank you for joining me.
It's been fun. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Good luck with the Rangers. Say hey, and we'll see you guys next time.